Hello everybody, happy Friday and welcome to my channel. I'm Ashley, also known as Colorado Killer Queen, and I am here bringing you a brand new review for the Final Girls of Horror. As you know, or maybe you don't, this month in March we have been celebrating Women in Horror Month. So rather than each of us review the same movie like we normally do, we chose a prompt for each week, and then we each get to review our own movie that relates to that prompt. So this week is our favorite final girl. And you guys, I know I say this every single week about every movie I review, but I'm telling you right now, I have been dying to talk about this one. It is one of my top favorite horror movies of all time. Easily my favorite final girl. I could talk about it all day, but I will try to keep this video around 15 minutes or less. It's gonna be hard though, because seriously, I could talk about this movie all fucking day, every day, to anyone who will talk to me about it. So this week, I reviewed Evil Dead from 2013, the reboot. This is directed by Fede Alvarez. I apologize if I screw these names up. You know, every time I come up with kind of a strange name, I'm sure I just butcher it completely, so I am sorry. Anyways, director and screenplay, also Rodo Sayagas also wrote the screenplay, so they tag team this one. It was also produced by Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell. They were very heavy-handed in this. Bruce Campbell is not in the movie, but they both produced it, so you know it's coming from the original creators. So you know it's not just some random person trying to remake an amazing series. These are the people that made the original Evil Dead series. So on that note, I do want to say, one, I am Evil Dead obsessed. I love every single movie. I love Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 2013. I loved Ash vs. Evil Dead, the TV series. So I'm all about it. Like, I cannot get enough Evil Dead in my life. So of course, my bar for this was really high because, I mean, you don't want to ruin something so perfect. And to me, the movies are perfect. And so I was really, really wanting beyond perfection for this movie. And I know many won't agree with me, but to me, this movie is perfect. Perfect 10 easily without even having to think about it. So you may agree, you may not agree. If you don't agree, let me know why. I also wanted to note, just for all of your knowledge, that when Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell first did the original Evil Dead, they had about a shoestring budget. If you've seen it, which if you haven't, oh my God, please go see it. They had a shoestring budget. You can see wires. It's like super cheesy and, you know, terrible as far as, you know, blockbuster movies. If someone is expecting a blockbuster movie for the original Evil Dead, that's not what you're gonna get. However, they did have the budget for this reboot. And what they wanted to do, so for the original Evil Dead, they wanted to make that terrifying. Unfortunately, because they didn't have enough money, they weren't able to do so. This time around, they had whatever they wanted, basically. So this movie is what Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell originally wanted the Evil Dead to be. They wanted it to be terrifying. They wanted it to be bloody and gore-filled. And they did that. They got to make the movie they wanted to make. And that's awesome to me. So let's go ahead and jump into this. I know I've already spent 5 minutes, haven't even gotten to the review yet, but like I said, I just have too much to say about this movie, so let's jump into it. So Evil Dead 2013 follows Jane Levy, who plays Mia, and she is a heroin addict, struggling hard. So she goes with her friends to a remote cabin, her family's cabin, in the middle of the woods. She meets her brother up there, who she hasn't seen in a very long time. He sort of disappeared off the face of the earth. Their mom had some mental issues, so he kind of bailed and left Mia to deal with that by herself. So there's definitely some resentment in that relationship. You can tell that he feels very guilty, and the brother's name is David. Who is he played by? He is played by Shiloh Fernandez. And then her two friends are Eric and Olivia, and then David's girlfriend Natalie also was there. So Mia went up, met all these people. The idea was for her to detox so that she can get off drugs. So they get up to this cabin, and it is the original Evil Dead cabin, which is awesome. Get up to the cabin. She ceremoniously dumps her drugs down into a well, says she's never touching them again. You know, let's play cold turkey, basically. So that's sort of her story. And I did forget to mention real quick, the opening scene of this movie, before you really meet the main characters, there's an opening scene that is so brutal. This movie is brutal. If you do not like body horror, if you do not like blood and gore, this movie will fuck you up, because it is just about as brutal as you can get. And the opening scene just starts you off right away. It's so great. It's such a great opening scene. It is terrifying and just beautiful. So anyway, sorry about that. Back into the plot. So they're up there, Mia's playing cold turkey, and they discover that there is something bad down in the basement of the cabin. Mia had said that she smelled something terrible. No one believed her. Their dog started scratching at a rug in the middle of the floor. They pulled it back. You know, it shows the famous basement latch that swings open on its own. So they go down into the basement. When that happens, they discover all sorts of like witchcrafty looking items. And they come across, dun dun dun, the Book of the Dead. So they find this Book of the Dead. It is wrapped in a trash bag with barbed wire, keeping it closed. So of course you would think to yourself, don't fucking open that book. Are you joking with all this witchcraft and how like protected it is? Are you joking? Do not touch that. However, if you put yourself in their position, like it's easy to say that as the viewer, but let's be honest, if you were in their position, you wouldn't believe that, you know? Like I wouldn't believe it. I'd be like, awesome. So he has the same reaction. Unfortunately, he opens up the Book of the Dead. As we all know, it's covered in human skin. The pages are inked with human blood. And within these pages are rituals about what they call the abomination, which is basically the apocalypse that the dead want to bring about. We want the dead to rise so that the abomination can come down and basically destroy the world. That's what's within these pages. So Eric, the friend, gets this book and decides to rifle through the pages. He comes across a page that has something scribbled out hardcore on it, and there are all sorts of warnings saying, do not read this. Do not listen to it. Do not hear it. Do not anything. What does he do? Grabs a piece of paper, puts it over, and colors it so that the letters underneath all that scratch out shows through. So he gets the spell, says it out loud, and of course, all shit hits the fan. Each individual is attacked and possessed at some point by the demon who ends up possessing Mia. So much like the original Evil Dead, you know, it kind of passes between person to person depending on how they interact with one another. So the whole movie is basically these people stuck in this cabin trying to keep Mia there because they don't want her to go off drugs. Then all the supernatural shit starts happening and they are just terrorized. These are some of the most brutal scenes you will see. There's someone uses a meat carver, carves off their arm. There's nail guns that people get shot with. Someone gets stabbed in the face with a needle. The needle comes off and he has to like pull the needle out of his eye. Gross. There are just so many brutal scenes in this movie. It's crazy. People getting shot. There is one scene particularly that I want to mention, and this is when Natalie, which is David's girlfriend, goes down to the basement. At this time, Mia has been put down there and locked away because she has become possessed, and so obviously they want to keep her contained. But she goes ahead and tricks Natalie. The demon does. The demon acts like it's still Mia, so Natalie goes down to help her. Lo and behold, it is not Mia. It is the demon that has possessed her. So she turns around and basically pulls Natalie down the stairs, and she's stuck down there. So this scene is very famous in this movie. Natalie's laying on the stairs. The evil Mia, we'll just call her that, crawls up on her. Natalie finds a little box opener laying on this to the side of the stairs, so she grabs it, kind of hoping it will help her defend evil Mia off. No, evil Mia is not afraid of a box cutter. And to prove that, she takes that box cutter and she fucking licks it. And what does that do? She cuts her own tongue right in half by licking this. It is disgusting. It is so hard to watch. It makes everyone cringe every time. There are so many cringy scenes. So like I said, if you cannot handle blood and gore, this is not the movie for you. Excuse me, my goodness. So one thing I really want to stress about this movie is the final act is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And that is not a joke. It is the most metal thing you will see in a movie, I'm telling you. So, towards the end of the movie, the abomination rises, okay? And when it does, blood comes pouring down from the sky. So at this point, everyone is dead except for Mia. She is the lone survivor, the final girl. So she has blood pouring down upon her. The abomination crawls out of the ground, and it does take the form of Mia. So it's basically the abomination of Mia coming after her. So that's like extra creepy. But so that starts happening. The abomination's going after her. She's obviously trying to get away from it. Then she crawls through this little tunnel that leads up into the shed that's close by this cabin. She crawls up through there, sees that the abomination's coming after her, so she's looking around, trying to find a weapon. And what does she find? I know you know. What does she find? This is Evil Dead we're talking about. A chainsaw. Of course. There, you have to have the chainsaw, right? You have to. So she finds this chainsaw. She eventually gets out of that shed, not without difficulty. She gets sliced up because the abomination shows up, finds like this sword type situation, and just like starts cutting her up. So Mia finally gets out of the shed, runs out with the abomination chasing her. She goes to hide underneath the Jeep, her brother's Jeep that was there, and the abomination comes up to the Jeep. She's hiding underneath, grabs her chainsaw and cuts off its legs, which is smart. So it falls down, but not before pushing the Jeep over. Mia tries to roll out of the way and her arm gets stuck. So she's stuck there. The chainsaw is just out of reach and this abomination is coming around to get her. Why is Mia my favorite final girl? Because this bitch is hardcore. What does she do? She rips her own arm off. Rips it off, okay? It's stuck under the Jeep, rips it right the fuck off. So she gets up, missing an arm. Awesome, right? She goes over to try to run away. The abomination is still crawling after her. She turns around, it's right there, crawling after her, and it tells her, I will feast on your soul. Coolest moment ever. She looks down at it and says, feast on this motherfucker, jams the chainsaw into its mouth, blood is pouring down, then you get the side angle showing Mia with the chainsaw just going away at the thing's face, and it's just completely demolishing this thing's head with this chainsaw as blood rain is just pouring down. If that is not the most metal thing, I don't know what is, honestly. That part is just the coolest thing in the world. I think I'm gonna have to get a tattoo of it. But it's just so fucking cool. It is so cool. I cannot tell you how cool it is. This movie just satisfies. If you are a gore person, it satisfies you so much. If you are a supernatural person, total satisfaction. If you are an Evil Dead person, total satisfaction. And Mia, like I said, she's a badass bitch. She goes through so much, more than pretty much any other final girl I can think of. And she makes it out, man. She makes it. I don't know how, but she does. And she does it in the best fashion. She dominates, destroys. She goes from being an addict to being possessed to seeing her friends and brother die in front of her. When she was younger, she lost her mom. She's, ripping off her own arm. She's going through all these things that you just don't know how she makes it through, but she fucking makes it through, and that is why she is my favorite final girl of all time. I am going to wrap this up, you guys, because I'm noticing I'm at 18 minutes, and like I knew I would talk too long about this, so I'm going to try to wrap it up. I do want to say that I put on my stories on Instagram yesterday just to see what you guys might say. I asked you what you think my final girl, or who you think my final girl would be. No one got it right. I got some Friday the 13th. I got Laurie Strode. No one came even close, which I'm actually not surprised at all. So I kind of tricked you guys, but thank you to anyone who voted on that. Fun stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Please, for the love of God, go see this movie and come back and tell me what you think of it. I will discuss this with you for the rest of your life if you want to. Check out the other final girls. down in the description. You can find all of their links. Please check out their videos. A couple of them were able to do videos this week, but check back every week. We do them every Friday. And just get back with me. Like this video, subscribe, comment so that we can get some interaction going on. I love talking about movies with anyone and everyone. So thank you guys for joining me again today. Go check out Evil Dead. It's the coolest fucking thing in the world. And come back, visit us next Friday. April, for the Final Girls of Horror, is going to be Creature Features Month, so I am beyond stoked about that. Cannot wait to share that with you guys. We'll be back to reviewing the same movies, so that's gonna be great. So let's see you next month. Thank you again for joining me. Go watch Evil Dead, go watch Evil Dead, go watch Evil Dead. Go watch Evil Dead. And if you've already seen it, go watch it again. And just go watch it again. I'll watch it, you watch it, well, I'll watch it and be super happy. All right, bye guys.